Welcome everyone to the Oscar edition of Bogart on Movies. I am really excited. We've got the Academy Awards on Sunday, and right now I'm going to make my Oscar picks, who I think will win and who I think should win. We'll also give you a short history of Oscar, look at some of the best picture Oscar mistakes from the past, years where there were movies that should not have won, and the ones that should. We'll also have Carla's campy pick as the worst movie ever and more. So let's begin. Way back in 1929, the first Oscar, then called the Award of Merit, was presented at a private dinner in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. The event was held 3 months after the awards were announced. Charlie Chaplin, you remember him, won a special award. He was to have been nominated for Best Actor, Best Director of a Comedy, and Best Writer. But he was so disliked in Hollywood that a deal was made with him to get the honorary award and drop out of the other competition. The best picture was Wings with Clara Bow, in which Gary Cooper was launched to stardom. This was the only silent film ever to win the award. Wings was a heck of an accomplishment back then. That's pretty cool. The Jazz Singer had just come out with Al Jolson, but it was barred from voting because it had an unfair advantage. It had sound. That year, Janet Gaynor, you do remember her, won Best Actress. And Best Actor went to German actor Emil Jannings for his role in The Last Command. While Jannings got the Oscar, it was generally known that Rin Tin Tin, remember Yo Rinny, got more votes for Best Actor, but it was still decided that having a dog win the first Oscar would not look very good for Hollywood. The Oscars themselves really came about because Louis B. Mayer and other Jewish movie moguls had established production in California after being discriminated against by an Eastern, closed-door establishment led by none other than Thomas Alva Edison. And they wanted to be seen not as immigrant Jews, but as uniquely American. So they created the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to give awards to themselves, becoming a kind of American nobility. Mayer and his art director designed the award, and there are 2 stories as to how it got its name. Pick whichever one you like. First, the librarian at the Academy said it looked like her Uncle Oscar. The other story, I like this one, is that in 1936, Betty Davis looked at the back of the statue, particularly its rear end, and said it looked like her first husband, bandleader Ham Oscar Nelson. Well, whichever you want to believe, it is the Oscar. Now it's time for me to put my neck on the line and give you my choices for this year's award, who I think will win and who I think should win. We start off with the acting awards, which when you get to the Oscar level is almost as much about the part as the talent. When the talent is comparable, the part usually wins out. First off, the award for Best Supporting Actor. This category is loaded. Great talent, great parts, and the voters have to choose between 3 wonderful performances, one by a legend. There's former winner Tommy Lee Jones, nominated for his portrayal of Republican Congressman from the great state of Pennsylvania, Thaddeus Stevens, in Spielberg's Lincoln.
How can I hold that all men are created equal when here before me stands stinking the moral carcass of the gentleman from Ohio, proof that some men are inferior, endowed by their maker with dim wits, impermeable to reason, with cold, pallid slime in their veins instead of hot red blood. You are more reptile than man, George, so low and flat that the foot of man is incapable of crushing you.
How dare you!
Jones is up against another former winner, Christoph Waltz, for his take on Dr. King Schultz in Django Unchained.
He didn't call her by name, but she's a young lady, whip marks on her back, and speaks German. Now, while it's not wise to assume in this instance, I think it's pretty safe. Point being, don't get so carried away with your retribution. You lose sight of why we're here.
You think I lost sight of that?
Yes, I do. Stop antagonizing Candy. You're going to blow this whole charade, or more than likely get us both killed. And I, for one, don't intend to die in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, USA.
Now, either of these wonderful actors could win. Both performances are Oscar-worthy. I'll give my nod here to Tommy Lee Jones, but in the background, there's two-time winner and a true movie legend, Robert De Niro, Bobby D., nominated this time for his portrayal of rabid Eagles fan Pat Solitano Sr. in Silver Linings Playbook.
It's all ruined. It's all ruined! No, Dad, don't do that! It's all ruined! No, Dad, it's ruined! No, Dad, don't do that! You loser!
Well, maybe I didn't spend enough time with you growing up. I spent too much time with your brother. It might have made you feel worse about your behavior, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to handle it.
Now, De Niro hasn't been nominated for 20 years, and how great would it be to see him walk on that stage and pick up his third Oscar? It sure would bring tears to this man's eyes. Now let's move on to Best Supporting Actress, and this one's really easy. No competition here. I don't think Helen Hunt even deserved the nomination, but the other ladies were good. Sally Field, who gained 25 pounds for her role as Mary Todd Lincoln, Amy Adams, and Jackie Weaver. All good, just not as good as the sure winner, Anne Hathaway.
Yes, it's true. There's a child, and the child is my daughter. And her father abandoned us, leaving us flat. Now she lives with an innkeeper man and his wife, and I pay for the child. What's the matter with that?
Right, my girl. On your way.
Monsieur le maire! Monsieur le maire! Monsieur le maire! Monsieur le maire!
Hey! Hey!
Well, if you didn't know it before, you know it now. This girl is not only very good in this movie, she's got a wonderful singing voice. I'm always amazed when an actress can really sing, and she can. She deserves the Oscar, and she will get it. Next up are my picks for Best Actor and Actress. First, Best Actress. I told you on my first show, before I'd seen many of the other performances in this category, that Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook was brilliant and should win the Oscar. And I feel the same way today. Here's what I said back then. And then there's Jennifer Lawrence, who Rolling Stone calls the best young actress in America. And she is. As Tiffany Maxwell, the widowed young woman who falls for Cooper, she is absolutely riveting, a joy to watch. I could not take my eyes off her, and you won't be able to either. This young woman, she is only 22, is by far the best young actress I've seen in a long time, and she was brilliant in this movie.
How'd you lose your job?
Having sex with everybody in the office.
Everybody?
I was very depressed after Tommy died. It was a lot of people.
We don't have to talk about it.
Thanks.
How many were there?
11.
Wow.
I know.
I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Can I ask you one more question? Were there any women?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What was that like?
Hot.
She will take home the prize, and mark my words, it will not be her last. Now on to Best Actor. Daniel Day-Lewis will win this one for his subtle, studied, nuanced performance as Honest Abe in Lincoln. Who else could have played him as well? He spent a year studying and preparing for the role, and Lewis may be the very best actor we have today. But fellow nominee Joaquin Phoenix, who doesn't do himself any justice by continually critiquing the whole ideas of characters and actors competing for awards, very anti-Oscar, isn't far behind. And in this case, his performance was, I think, better. A towering achievement. First, let's look at Lewis as Honest Abe, talking about Greek mathematician Euclid.
Euclid's first common notion is this: things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That's a rule of mathematical reasoning. It's true because it works. Has done and always will do. In his book, Euclid says this is self-evident. You see, there it is, even in that 2,000-year-old book of mechanical law. It is a self-evident truth that things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other.
As I said, I think Lewis was fantastic in the part, but I just wasn't excited about the movie. And I don't think he was as good as Phoenix's take on damaged World War II seaman Freddie Quell in The Master.
We were celebrating. We were drinking and dancing. I don't remember an episode. Was there a fight? What happened?
Let's just see if we can't help you remember what happened.
Okay.
Bottom line, Lewis will win the award, but even he at the Golden Globes, when he accepted Best Actor there, singled out Phoenix's performance. If only the Academy would do the same. Now let's move on to this year's two controversial categories, Best Picture and Best Director. The most controversial is the Oscar for Best Director. My choice is Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained. Oh yeah, he's not nominated. But right behind him is Ben Affleck for Argo. Oh yeah, he's not nominated either. Well, how about Catherine Bigelow for Zero Dark 30? Oh, she's not nominated either. It's crazy. So it looks like Steven Spielberg has a clear path to the Oscar for the somewhat boring, although historically important, and of course well-directed Lincoln. Here he is after a screening of the movie at the New York Film Festival, talking to Yahoo News about the way he broke down the humongous story of Lincoln to a 2-hour-plus movie.
We focused it down to the last 4 months of his life, where he had to make a monumental decision to finish the war and then attempt to abolish slavery through a constitutional amendment, the 13th Amendment, or whether he needed to get enough votes to get this amendment through the House of Representatives before the war ended.
Look, Spielberg's a brilliant director, obviously. He's made some of the highest grossing and best movies ever. I'm certainly not going to knock him as a director, so I think the Academy will give him the Oscar. Now, who do I think should win? Ang Lee for the beautifully directed, heartwarming story, The Life of Pi.
I was born and raised in one of the most beautiful places on earth. It was a time filled with wonder that I'll always remember. But when my family chose to move our zoo halfway around the world, that is when my greatest journey began.
I have heard so many people say, it's not my kind of movie, Kid and a Tiger on a Boat. And I said the same thing. And then I admitted how wrong I was. This is a masterpiece of directing. The story was great. And if you haven't seen it, see it. And tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Ang Lee should take the prize for this gorgeous film, but the Oscar will go to Steven Spielberg. And finally, for Best Picture, there are 9 nominations. So every movie that could be nominated was. So the question becomes, what do I think should win, and what do I think will win? Lincoln was the early favorite, but it's the kind of movie that you're supposed to love. To me, it's just too plodding, too boring, and it's almost as if it became a history lesson and forgot to be entertaining, which a movie's supposed to be. The best film of the year, in my opinion, is the Harvey Weinstein-produced Django Unchained, directed by Tarantino. I still can't believe he and Affleck were not even nominated for Best Director. Look at these scenes from Django.
Do you know what a bounty hunter is?
You kill people. And they give you a reward?
Better they are, bigger the reward.
I'm looking for the Riddle brothers. However, I don't know what they look like, but you do.
They called my wife. They sold her. But I don't know who to.
Calvin Candy.
That's the repellent gentleman who owns her.
Broomhilda is my property, and I can choose to do with my property whatever I so desire.
Help me find the Riddle brothers, and I'll take you to rescue your wife.
Let's get to it.
My name is Dr. King Schultz. This is my valet, Django.
This is just a wonderful piece of filmmaking. The acting, the music, the script, the visuals, the humor, all put together by the great, and I say again, great, Quentin Tarantino, who is, by the way, quickly becoming the modern Scorsese, ignored until they have to give him an Oscar for something. Django should win. But what will win, and is, by the way, very deserving as well, it's the movie that's won all the awards at every stop leading up to the Oscars. The story of how the United States got American hostages out of Iran in 1979. It's Warner Brothers' Argo.
What happened? 6 of the hostages went out a back exit.
Where are they? The Canadian ambassador's house.
Got Revolutionary Guards going door to door. These people die. They die badly. White House wants the 6 of them out.
What we like for this are bicycles.
Deliver the 6 bikes, provide them with maps.
Or you could just send in training wheels and meet them at the border with Gatorade.
It's gonna take a miracle to get them out.
Buddy man, what are we watching?
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film crew for a science fiction movie.
I fly into Tehran. We all fly out together as a film crew. I need you to help me make a fake movie.
So you want to come to Hollywood and act like a big shot without actually doing anything?
Yeah.
You'll fit right in. You need a script?
Argo. Science fantasy adventure.
Moonscape, Mars, desert.
They need an exotic location to shoot.
You need a producer.
If I'm doing a fake movie, it's gonna be a fake hit.
You don't have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
This is also a wonderful movie. Not as good or accomplished or with the subtle nuances of Django, but it will win. And if it's not Django, then Argo probably should win. So there will absolutely be some controversy surrounding this year's awards, but it won't be the first time. In fact, the Academy has made what I think are some whoppers of mistakes in the past. For example, these megastars never won an Oscar. Cary Grant, Peter O'Toole, Fred Astaire, Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, Barbara Stanwyck, and directors Alfred Hitchcock, Sidney Lumet, and even Federico Fellini never took home the prize. But the most glaring oversights have been in the Best Picture category. And here are a few that really stand out. In 1968, what should have won was the over-the-top brilliant The Lion in Winter. If you haven't seen it, you really should, with the mesmerizing performances of Peter O'Toole and Kate Hepburn.
Don't fight me, Eleanor.
What would you have me do? Give out, give up, give in?
Give me a little peace.
A little? Why so modest? How about eternal peace? Now there's a thought.
Well, what do we have? The holly or each other?
For these 10 years you've lived with everything I've lost and loved another woman through it all. I could peel you like a pear, and God himself would call it justice.
Who do you think I built this kingdom for? Me! When can I have it, Daddy? Not until we bury you.
But what did win? It was the musical Oliver.
My name's Oliver. Oliver Twist. And mine's Jack Dawkins. Better known among me more intimate friends as the Artful Dodger. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Dodger. Sure the old gentleman won't mind? Right. Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself one of the family. I've taken to you so strong. It's clear we're going to get along.
Now don't get me wrong, I loved Oliver, My mom took me to see it on the stage in London when I was 10 years old. It was fantastic, but Best Picture over a really great film like Lion in Winter? I'm sorry, not in my book. Next, in 1979, what should have won was Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, the epic Vietnam War film starring Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen, and a host of others.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Smells like victory.
Could we talk to Colonel Kurtz?
You don't talk to the colonel. Well, you listen to him.
Are you an assassin? I'm a soldier. You're an errand boy. Sent by grocery clerks. To collect the bill.
That was a young Dennis Hopper. But what did win? Kramer versus Kramer, the divorce drama with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
I want my son.
You can't have him.
What makes you so sure he doesn't want me?
Wait,
I'm not that late, dude. I'm only 20 minutes.
all the other mothers were there before you.
It will never happen again, okay?
I'm not saying he doesn't need his father, but I really believe he needs me more. I'm his mother.
Now, I'm a huge Hoffman and Streep fan. They are both brilliant actors and were wonderful in this. But dude, this is an award for Best Picture. And that year, Apocalypse Now was absolutely it. So we move on to 1980, the year when Scorsese was surely going to win. In 1976, Taxi Driver lost to Rocky, but okay, everyone loved Rocky, and Taxi Driver was probably too much for many people. But this year, he had to win for Raging Bull, didn't he?
I'm the best. I can take him more than anybody.
You're dead, you're married. Leave the young girls for me.
There's no way I'm going down. I don't go down for nobody.
What is it with him? Why does he have to make it so hard on himself?
If you beat Trigger Ready, you'll get a shot at the title. You feel that way?
There's no one else around who wants to fight me. They're all afraid. You've done a lot of bad things, Joey. Maybe it's coming back to me.
Now, De Niro won for Best Actor, but unbelievably, can you say Hollywood prejudiced against East Coast artists? This giant of a film lost to, get this, ordinary people.
How long are you going to punish yourself? When are you going to quit?
I loved him. What in the hell has happened?
That she hates me. Can't you see that?
Mothers don't hate their sons.
I mean, there's someone besides your mother you got to forgive.
You better make sure that your kids are good and safe. And then you come to me and tell me how to be happy.
Again, this was a good movie. Fine acting, Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, Tim Hutton, Judd Hirsch. But you're talking about Raging Bull here. Again, no way. So now let's jump forward to 1998, where one of the great war movies ever made, Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, should have won. Remember the incredible D-Day scene? So what did win? And this just kills me. None other than Shakespeare in Love. That's right, Shakespeare in Love.
Who is she?
Dream on, Will.
I heard you were a poet.
I was a poet till now.
Shakespeare!
My heart belongs to you, but I will marry Wessex a week from Saturday.
Is she fertile? She will breed. If she do not, send her back.
If they find you here, they will kill you.
For one kiss, I would defy 1,000 Wessexes.
Now, I liked the movie. It was funny. But come on, Shakespeare in Love? It's just not in the same league with Private Ryan. And finally, for my last Oscar oops, we go back to 1990. Here's what did win. It's the Kevin Costner directed and starred in Dances with Wolves. Now, I liked the movie, but please, what should have won was my perfect movie. Another Scorsese masterpiece, Goodfellas.
For most of the guys, killing's got to be accepted. Murder was the only way that everybody stayed in line.
What are we gonna do with him? We can't just dump him on the street. Don't worry. I know a place up safe they'll never find him.
You got out of line, you got whacked. Everybody knew the rules.
Hey, Henry, here's an arm. Very funny, guys. Here's a leg.
There's a wing. What do you like, the leg or the wing, Henry?
And we were treated like movie stars with muscle. We had it all just for the asking.
It's gonna be a good summer.
It was a glorious time.
Now, I dare you to tell me that just seeing that doesn't make you want to go back and watch this movie. Every second was gold. In my mind, as I said, this was the perfect picture and the most egregious Best Picture mistake of all. Now, I'll be right back to summarize my Oscar picks, but first, a real biggie. Stay right where you are for Carla's campy pick for the worst movie of all time. Hint, is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? It's both.
Attack of the killer tomatoes. Attack of the killer tomatoes. You've never seen a film like it. This is the incredible story of the world's ultimate disaster. Vicious man-eating tomatoes grow to monstrous proportions. Faced with this unprecedented menace, the president calls upon Mason Dixon, special agent. Join Mason Dixon in a race against time as he battles to save the world from the threat of nature's perfect eating machine, the killer tomato.
Ain't no time to make a fuss. We gotta get those tomatoes before they get us.
Attack of the killer tomatoes. You've never seen anything like it.
Remember that next time you order a salad. Okay, recapping my picks for the Oscar. Best Supporting Actor, Tommy Lee Jones, but I hope it will be De Niro. Best Supporting Actress, Anne Hathaway. Best Actor, Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln, should be Joaquin Phoenix. Best Actress, Jennifer Lawrence of Silver Linings Playbook, absolutely no contest. Best Director, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, but it should be Ang Lee for The Life of Pi. And the Best Picture Oscar will go to Argo. But in my view, the Best Picture of the year was, without a doubt, Django Unchained by the great and somehow unnominated Quentin Tarantino. The Oscars will be announced Sunday night. Let's see how we do. And I look forward to seeing you next week right here on Bogart on Movies. And remember, you can write to me with your comments and questions. Steve Bogart at WXEL.org.